You can't see the future, but if the future is exponential, like you and I both believe, then it's very bright. The question is, what's going to happen near term? I don't know the answer to that, but are we sitting here at an all-time high between now and the end of the year? We have 11 and a half months to go, and we have a big halving cycle taking place in April. Could Bitcoin get through the $69,000 level by the end of the year? I believe it will.
Yeah.
Selling will have abated from grayscale, and the machines of Wall Street will be selling this idea to their clients.
Skybridge Capital founder and former White House Director of Communications, Anthony Scaramucci, has shared his outlook on Bitcoin for the 2024-2025 bull market run. As we approach the much-anticipated halving event in April, Mooch, as he is popularly known, has expressed sentiments that the halving will open the doors of exponential growth for Bitcoin and the entire digital assets space. During his latest interview with Tony Edwards of Thinking Crypto, Anthony talks about the confluence of two huge events for crypto in 2024. The first was the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs by the US Securities and Exchange Commission in January. According to the former White House staffer, this historic event, which heralded some of the most successful launches in ETF history, has undoubtedly made an indelible mark in Bitcoin's history. Despite the previous price declines that saw Bitcoin briefly drop below $39,000, Anthony is certain that the grayscale selling is tampering to a halt, and tens of billions of dollars are still waiting to get into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. He expects these factors to intensify further in April when the Bitcoin block reward is halved. With a combination of these important events, Anthony predicts that Bitcoin will at least easily smash the $69,000 all-time high before the year ends. But that's just his base case for the cycle. During previous interviews, including one with Reuters during the annual World Economic Forum meeting, Anthony predicted that Bitcoin's price could hit $170,000 in 2025. We will now bring you clips from the interview, as well as a bullish Standard Chartered report that suggests Ethereum, the largest altcoin by market cap, could hit $4,000 in a couple of months. You do not want to miss any part of today's video, so please watch to the end, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I would say something to you that I would hope your viewers and listeners would contemplate. The more homework you do on Bitcoin, the more you go towards Bitcoin. I sort of feel like Bitcoin research and Bitcoin due diligence is a one-way ticket towards Bitcoin. I have yet to find somebody that says, you know, I read everything, I got steeped in the understanding of the code, I got steeped in the understanding of the network and the decentralized nature of the network and the fact that it hasn't been hacked and has been up and running for 14 years. I did all the work and I hate Bitcoin. I have yet to hear anybody do that. So, we'll get there. Jamie's an example of somebody that probably needs to do the homework. Something else is going on, actually. There's pressure on him from regulators. He's got to deal with the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. There's pressure in the system as a traditional finance representative. But listen, you know this, and I know this. JP Morgan, as you mentioned, they're an AP on the ETFs for people. They're producing research on Bitcoin. They have their own coin. They have built a element of their blockchain. You can call, if you have an account at JP Morgan in the private bank, and you call them and say, hi, unsolicited, I'd like to buy $25,000, $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, something like that. No problem. They'll buy for you and they'll put that CUSIP in your account. You'll sit there with the Blackstone Bitcoin Trust in a JP Morgan account. Coinbase is going to be fine. I think that they are such a big part of the crypto ecosystem, and all of these ETFs are transacting with Coinbase. Coinbase has an interesting lawsuit going on right now vis-a-vis the SEC. It sounds like the judge is very well prepared, asking super smart questions related to that lawsuit. It could come to pass, Tony, where the SEC loses another case. Could you imagine that? I mean, they would have lost the Ripple case. They would have lost the Grayscale case. they lose the Coinbase case, I think at that point it's a little embarrassing for them in terms of the way they're administrating the laws. I think it's prima facie they're acting as politicians and they're being politically influenced more than they are adhering to or following the law. But when you talk about grown-ups in the room, Coinbase will have its market share. JP Morgan, despite the sentiments shared by Jamie Dimon, will have its market share. Goldman has gotten into the mix. And yes, I think that the asset class is growing up. I don't think some of the larger baby companies, to use your analogy, are going to get hurt that badly, because I just think it's just going to be overall growth in the ecosystem. But, you know, the biggest brokerage firms have Bitcoin available as an investment. The wirehouses have approved it for their core portfolios. You know, you could have somebody like BlackRock in their total return portfolio. It's a $2 trillion portfolio. They say, okay, we want a 1% exposure. It's $200 billion in Bitcoin. Just think of the magnitude of that, right? Think about all the road that we have ahead of us, right? I mean, the road to get here, all of these early adapters are being rewarded because it's now going mainstream. But you're just getting started on the mainstream road. You know, to put it into context, there's only 4.5% adoption globally. That's roughly where we were in the middle of 1998 for the internet and Web 1. So just imagine where we'll be in 10 or 15 years.
Whenever the JP Morgan CEO makes one of his ridiculous statements about Bitcoin and crypto advocates are quick to point out his hypocrisy, with his firm being so deeply involved in crypto and looking for more avenues to get in deeper. In addition, all of Dimon's money laundering and fraud claims are best directed at the banking and traditional finance industry. JP Morgan, in particular, is the second largest penalized bank and has paid $39.3 billion in fines for 272 violations since 2000. Since Dimon became CEO in 2005, the banking giant has paid about $38 billion in fines, 1/10 of the $380 billion fines paid by banks worldwide for violations. It is easy to see that Dimon is not opposed to Bitcoin for the reasons he has been parading, but because the cryptocurrency industry presents an existential threat to the industry he represents. But there is only so much anti-crypto narrative Dimon and others can give. There is simply no stopping this. During the discussion with Tony Edwards, Anthony also gives his outlook on the US economy in 2024, an election year, which he says is almost a guarantee of money printing and swift rate cuts. Let's get back to the interview.
It's an election year. And so I'll say a couple of things. The Stock Trader Almanac, 125 years of election year of observation, 85% of the time the market goes up in an election year. I wouldn't bet against that trend. Secondarily, the Fed has said that they're more or less done raising rates. And it being an election year, and I know they try to be apolitical, they're sort of political, they'll probably start cutting rates. The question is, how much will they cut and when? And I think when they say higher, longer, I just think it's going to be lower, longer. And what do I mean by that? Probably don't cut rates until the second half of the year, and then they cut them pretty quickly. But I think that they'll probably leave people with an impression that they're not cutting them in the first half, and then by June, July, they'll start cutting them. And the market's gone up a lot. I'm talking about the stock market. So if the Fed cuts rates and the market doesn't move a lot, it won't surprise me because it's been anticipatory. Same way Bitcoin went up a lot into the ETF news. Once it got announced, it traded a little bit sloppily. But I do believe that interest rates are the physical gravity of financial assets. You lower rates, you're going to increase the value of those assets. It's just the way it works. So lower rates will mean a higher Bitcoin. Lower rates will mean a higher Ethereum. And so it'll be generally a good thing. Will it happen instantaneously? No. But will it happen? Sure. Remember, these things are what Buffett once said, the markets are a voting machine or a popularity contest in the short term, but they're a weighing machine over long periods of time where they weigh the fundamentals of something. And so So
Mm.
you could be sitting here with lower interest rates and Bitcoin's up over 100,000. Not impossible.
Trump did, we talked about it earlier, make some statements about CBDCs. I want to get your thoughts in general because there seems to be a growing need for this in the United States or a stablecoin version.
I actually think that you can have a stable coin.
Mhm.
Doesn't come with all the bells and whistles of privacy invasion. And why not just go with the stable coin? Moreover, Jeremy Allaire just put out a white paper describing the benefits of having a stable coin versus a central bank digital currency. It's less threatening to the world to have a stable coin.
Mhm.
And in some ways, it may maintain or improve the dollar's supremacy.
Mhm.
So, I'm not buying that we need to have a central bank digital currency. By the way, we'll survive if we get one, but I don't think we will get one.
Mhm.
There's still like libertarian elements in the country. And I can just tell you that they were talking about dollarization over the blockchain in 2017 when I was in the White House. Now, granted, I was only there for a short period of time, but the Fed in July of 2017 produced a white paper talking about putting the dollar up on the blockchain. Nothing happened. It's 7 years later. So we'll see. But I think the first move is going to probably be to use Jeremy Allaire at Circle and the USDC. Just like we have a lot of banks, I don't see how we wouldn't end up with a lot of stable coins. Now, having said that, will the stable coins make themselves interoperable with each other?
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that we get legislation that creates that type of clarity. So if you have a stable coin backed in US dollar or an Algorand and you need to flip it into an Ethereum-based stable coin, I hope we are able to make that happen for people without a lot of costs or a lot of fanfare.
Mhm.
So, I think it happens. And I think the future's bright. And if you're at 4% adoption or 4.5% adoption right now, Tony, imagine what the world looks like at 9% adoption.
While the idea of having different dollar-pegged stablecoins, as opposed to a forcefully enforced central bank digital currency like other countries, may sound appealing, experts like Whitney Webb have warned that it's just another scheme to fool Americans. These stablecoins will be under the full control of the banking industry warlords, which means they will be in charge of every aspect of our lives. With this in mind, it is absolutely important to proceed with caution at all times and always question the narratives. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. As stated earlier, Standard Chartered has published a note sharing extremely bullish Ethereum predictions. According to the note published on Tuesday, the researchers expect the US Securities and Exchange Commission to approve spot Ethereum ETFs in May, spurring a massive rally for the largest altcoin. Jeff Kendrick, the bank's head of crypto research, explained that the SEC has until May 23rd to make a decision on VanEck and ARK 21 share spot Ethereum ETF applications. Kendrick expects the agency to announce its decision on that very date, just like it did with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, when the SEC finally approves both applications, as well as BlackRock's, Fidelity's, and Grayscale's proposal to convert its Ethereum trust to a spot ETF. Kendrick is predicting that Ethereum prices could go as high as $4,000, about $700 shy of the altcoin's all-time high. Kendrick further predicts that Ethereum will face a much lower post-approval sell-off compared to Bitcoin. In the note, the Standard Chartered researcher noted that Bitcoin's price experienced a sell-off as investors exited the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, adding that Grayscale's Ethereum Trust holds a smaller portion of the total market cap of the altcoin compared to the Bitcoin held in GBTC. These factors should make Ethereum less vulnerable than Bitcoin to a post-approval sell-off, Kendrick added. Do you think the SEC will approve spot Ethereum ETFs in May? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on spot notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.